When winter blankets the mountain forests in white, most would assume wild boars retreat into hiding. But no. Instead, they become more aggressive, more reckless, using the snow to conceal their tracks and launch sudden attacks on nearby communities. Livestock pens have been torn apart. In the face of this growing threat, Adam, an experienced hunter, and his team could no longer sit back. They geared up and set out into the harsh winter wilderness with a single goal: eliminate the danger called wild boars. Amid the snow-covered slopes, the dark figures of wild boars stood out clearly against the white backdrop, making it easy for Adam to lock in on targets from afar. Taking advantage of the elevation and favorable positioning, the team quietly moved into formation. No talking, just focus, waiting for the perfect moment. Then, simultaneous fire. Precise shots took down multiple targets in seconds. In these freezing conditions, every movement must be swift, calculated, and delivered flawlessly. As they pushed deeper into the snowy woods, a large herd suddenly came into view. Without a second of hesitation, Adam and his team opened fire in unison. Gunfire erupted, shaking the forest. Under the hail of bullets, most of the herd went down instantly. Only a few left. Ones managed to escape. A lightning-fast assault, executed with precision and years of hunting experience. Chaos and echoes from the shootout sent nearby boars into a frenzy, scattering in all directions. But panic was exactly what the team was waiting for. One shot, one kill. Boars dropped one after another in brutal efficiency. Across the opposite hillside, Adam's teammates spotted another herd weaving through the snow-laden trees. This time, they zeroed in on the lead boar. A few well-placed shots, and an entire formation broke apart. Target by target, they were picked off swiftly. The snow grew deeper by the hour, making the chase more difficult, especially as tracks were quickly buried. But this extreme terrain also gave hunters the upper hand in setting ambushes. From a well-hidden position, one team member spotted a shadow moving through the trees. A few seconds later, a precise shot dropped a massive boar trying to sneak away undetected. In this rugged landscape, no wild boar could escape the eyes or the rifles of seasoned hunters.
Please check the battery.
gunfire echoed through the frozen forest, blending with the howling winds, creating a scene both brutal and breathtaking. As twilight fell, snow gently covered the fallen boars scattered across the hills. Victory! The team couldn't hide their relief and excitement. This winter hunt had ended with resounding success, far exceeding expectations. And that's a wrap for today's video. What moments stood out to you most in this wild hunt? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss another adrenaline-filled hunting adventure. Until next time, stay sharp, stay safe, and we'll see you out in the wild. In Sweden, the vast forests aren't just home to moose and brown bears, they're also a breeding ground for one of the most destructive invaders: wild boars. With rapid reproduction, incredible adaptability, and near unbeatable survival instincts, these animals are becoming a nightmare for farmers. It's estimated that the wild boar population in Sweden has exceeded 300,000, a staggering number considering the country's arable land. In response, the Swedish government has loosened hunting regulations, allowing hunters to control the population year-round. And today, I'm taking you on an intense hunt through these wild woods. Let's get started. We had high hopes for today's hunt. My friends and I headed into the remote forests of southern Sweden, a hotspot for wild boar activity, and the scene of constant damage to local farms. As we reached one of the most isolated spots on the mountain, we spotted a group of wild boars almost immediately. Without hesitation, we got into position. The first shots rang out, echoing through the woods. Although most of the boars scattered, a few didn't escape in time. We kept moving, scanning for new targets. Suddenly, a boar darted through the trees. I raised my rifle in an instant. perfect shot. It tumbled and dropped to the ground, a clean takedown in a tense moment. While continuing our search, a group of wild boars suddenly burst out in front of us, likely startled by our presence. Reflex kicked in. I quickly aimed and fired. One target down. It wasn't the biggest, but it was enough to boost my morale for the battles ahead. The noise and scent of gunpowder clearly spooked the herd. They scattered in every direction. We split up and managed to take down a few more as they tried to flee. Lying low in ambush, I heard a faint rustle. A boar had entered my sights. From a good vantage point, I lined up the shot. One clean pull of the trigger, swift and precise. The target dropped instantly. Not the biggest prize, but a solid result. The sound of gunfire echoed through the forest, triggering more movement. Other boars began to appear. Every shot required complete focus. We aimed to drop any that showed themselves. With my trusty rifle in hand, I pushed through thick brush and spotted another wild boar. Chamber loaded, I steadied myself and pulled the trigger. Moments later, a few dark shadows darted through the bushes nearby. I tracked them and fired multiple rounds, adding more trophies to our tally. After a series of intense encounters, we pressed on. Luck was on our side today. Another boar moved slowly across an open patch. No way we were letting that chance slip by. A quick shot, and it was down. We immediately spread out to widen our search area. From time to time, gunshots cracked through the forest, a clear signal that someone in the group had just made another hit. You see, wild boars love dense, tangled areas, so we decided to sweep the surrounding underbrush, hoping to flush something out. Out of nowhere, a dark shadow charged straight at me, fast, frantic, and wild. Luckily, I was ready. I reacted just in time. A perfect headshot. The boar dropped mere inches away from me. Heart pounding. I knew I'd just dodged a real threat. No time to dwell on it. I had to stay sharp. Its pack could be close. And sure enough, there. This time, my shot was even quicker and cleaner. The hunt wasn't over yet. A large, fast wild boar tried to weave through the trees, looking for an escape route. I couldn't let that happen. One more gunshot rang out and the boar was down. After a long, exhausting day, all our effort had paid off. We successfully eliminated a good number of wild boars from the area. The vast fields of Texas are in ruins. Uncontrolled wild boar populations have invaded farms, tearing up fields and wreaking havoc. Farmers are at their wits' end as the damage continues to pile up. We can't let them run rampant any longer. This time, we're not just hunting from the ground. We have a superior advantage, a helicopter. The aerial hunt begins, high speed, heavy firepower, and no escape for the wild boars. Wild boar invasions are a serious issue in Texas, USA. However, controlling their numbers is a challenge due to their intelligence and elusiveness. Hunting and trapping measures have been implemented, but their effectiveness remains limited. Additionally, bringing wild boar meat to market faces challenges due to strict federal inspection regulations. The helicopter takes off. From above, the wild boars are clearly visible, scattering across the fields. The pilot immediately tilts the aircraft, maintaining a steady speed. We adjust our aim, locking onto the targets. The first round of bullets cuts through the wind, echoing across the fields. Three more go down within seconds. The first 5 targets are eliminated. The aircraft glides forward, scanning the fields. The crops provide little cover for the fleeing boars. We switch weapons, switching to semi-automatic rifles to maximize continuous fire. Some manage to slip away in the chaos. The pilot quickly adjusts the flight angle, giving us a better shooting position. Within minutes, we claim more trophies. As we continue the fight, the pilot spots another herd nearby. Without hesitation, the attack begins. The first barrage takes down multiple targets. Some are wounded, but still trying to escape. But nowhere to run. We quickly locate their hiding spots. From above, there is no cover. Precise shots take them down in an instant. Down below, dark figures dart through the grass. We lower altitude. The helicopter roars just overhead. The chase is on. Gunshots ring out. 2 more boars drop immediately. Another tries to flee, but doesn't make it. The pilot circles around, surveying the area before wrapping up the hunt. A few more boars are spotted and swiftly taken down. But we know this is just one battle in a long war. More herds will emerge, and the hunt is far from over.
Yes, alright.
This week, we received an urgent call for help from a farmer living in the state of Georgia. His family's crops were being ravaged by wild hogs. They had lost nearly 70% of their agricultural yield last season, and if nothing was done soon, the situation would spiral out of control. We didn't waste a second. From Texas, our entire team took off by helicopter, fully equipped with thermal scopes, long-range rifles, and night reconnaissance drones. As we landed in the outskirts of Waycross, Georgia, we knew we were stepping into a real battlefield. 9:30 p.m. Under the faint moonlight and thick fog, our thermal scopes picked up 4 targets silently moving in from the edge of the forest. They were massive, moving slowly yet menacingly. We split into 2 teams and closed in from opposite directions. One clean trigger pull, all 4 dropped in total silence. But that was just the beginning. Darkness cloaked the field, but thanks to our thermal imaging, we could easily spot hogs lurking in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike. This was it. A loud gunshot cracked the silence. One hog collapsed instantly. The sound startled the rest, sending them scattering in panic. We didn't hold back. We kept firing, dropping as many targets as possible. We pushed forward and suddenly spotted a large hog foraging in the open. As soon as it sensed danger, it bolted. But it couldn't outrun a well-placed shot. Another one down. From a distance, we noticed another sounder moving across the field. No time to hesitate. We opened fire, targeting them one by one. Gunshots echoed non-stop, but landing accurate shots was tough. These hogs were fast, and it took us a while to fully eliminate the group. This place was clearly a hot zone for wild hogs. The deeper into the night, the more aggressive and widespread they became. We encountered sounder after sounder, casually roaming and foraging like they owned the land. Our thermal scopes gave us a huge advantage, allowing us to take down hogs with pinpoint accuracy. These beasts were massive, making it easier to spot and track them. We just had to stay hidden and wait for the perfect moment to strike. We didn't stop there. Tracking deeper into the forest, I spotted a hog busily foraging between tree trunks, unaware of the danger nearby. I aimed directly at its head, squeezed the trigger, and down it went instantly. Unfortunately, the rest of the group disappeared into the dense woods. Undeterred, the whole team pushed forward. I focused on the biggest hog to the right. Took aim. Headshot.
Take him now.
While ambushing a large sounder out on the field, I locked onto the biggest one and took the shot. But it wasn't enough to bring it down. One more off the list. After a long night of hunting, we had collected some impressive trophies. The hog panicked and fled. It was getting late. We were exhausted, and the constant gunfire had already spooked the hogs. We called it a night and returned to rest. All the hog carcasses were handed over to local authorities for proper handling and disposal.
That'll make it a good picture too, having them.
Texas is one of the regions hit hardest by wild boars, making them a serious threat to local agriculture. Today, my friends and I are heading out on another wild boar hunt. This isn't just a way to control their population, it's also something we genuinely enjoy. Stick around to see if we manage to take down any boars this time. As usual, my friends and I drove out to the wide open grasslands behind the mountains to kick off a hunting trip. Since this is a familiar hunting ground, several feeders and hunting stands had already been set up to lure the wild boars in, and this time was no different. From the stand, I adjusted my rifle for the best line of sight. There it is, our target completely absorbed in enjoying the tasty grains. I held my breath. With a swift pull of the trigger, the bullet shot out, and the boar dropped instantly. A smooth, promising start. With each quiet step, I carefully moved through the bushes, trying not to make a single sound. Reaching a good vantage point, I could see the wild boar moving in and out of view, almost blending into the dry grass. It looked extremely alert, ready to bolt at any second. The moment came. I fired, the bullet sliced through the air. The shot rang out, and the boar staggered. Without hesitation, I took the second shot, and the wild boar finally collapsed, completely taken down. As we followed the forest trail, our eyes constantly scanned for signs of wild boars' jagged hoofprints, and patches of freshly dug earth stood out clearly on the damp ground. It was obvious these animals had become a nightmare for local farmers. After a long, silent wait, we suddenly spotted a lone wild boar. Its size was far larger than the ones we usually encounter, making our entire group extra cautious. My heart pounded in my chest as I prepared to take the shot. Then, as the target came fully into view, I took aim and held my breath. Shot rang out. The bullet cut through the air. In the swift distance, the wild boar dropped instantly. As the sun began to set and dusk settled in, we spotted a group of wild boars foraging, digging into the earth in search of food. In the fading light, we watched closely. Concentration, I decided to take the shot aiming at the largest boar in the group. A single, decisive shot, unexpectedly precise, dropped the target on the spot. Wasn't the end. A new group of wild boars had just appeared, and our determination only grew stronger. Without hesitation, a shot rang out, leaving no chance for panic or escape. Another massive target was taken down. Unfortunately for them, today they crossed paths with us. The squeals of startled boars echoed through the air, but I wasn't about to let them get away. One shot after another, and the wild hogs dropped one by one in the tall grass. As night fell, we returned home with the spoils from an exhilarating day of boar hunting. The wild hogs would now become a delicious meal. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel.